Our chapter number 1 of part A, Human Geography, Nature and Scope. This is our last lecture related to this chapter. Yesterday we discussed some terms regarding the changes from the primitive society to the modern society, in which we discussed about naturalization of human, possibilism, humanization of nature, and new determinism. I hope all you are able to understand what are these terms, right? Now these changes comes gradually. It is a long process and it takes a lot of time to be changed. So now we will focus on the corridor of time through which the human geography proceed. So human geography through the corridor of time. The process of adaptation, adjustment with and modification of the environment started with the appearance of human beings over the surface of the earth in different ecological niches. When human beings appeared on the earth's surface, since then we are interacting with our nature for our needs. When the primitive society was there, they were interacting with the nature according to their uh, strength. After that, when we go through with the technological advancement, we interact with the nature more and more. So when as ecological environment is present on the earth surface is different type of uh, adaptation is there. We have to adjust with the natural environment, and we create some modification in our environment to make our life in better style, right? Thus, if we imagine the beginning of human geography with the interaction of environment and human beings, it has its roots deep in history, right? Because if we talked about the primitive society, it means we are going into the history. So we can't separate geography with history, because if we want to know about the present situation, we must know the situation in the past. So it is related to the history. Thus, the concern of human geography have a long temporal continuum through the approaches to articulate them have changed over time. So this is a dynamic process, and it keeps on changing. Different approaches are there, so which makes the geography as a vibrant subject, as a dynamic subject, because it is primarily concerned with the changing process, with the changing process of the earth and the interaction of unresting human being with it, right? So earlier there was little interaction between the society and the nature, and there was a there so it, our knowledge was limited. We don't know to next who is to next us who is there. We are limited to our village or our community only. But some travelers come, some explorers come who explores the new regions, because as we discussed in the 11th standard that there is three questions we seek to answer in geography: what, where, and why. This is our basic nature. We want to take the answer of these three questions, and the result is exploring the new regions, because human beings mind have curiosity to know more and more about the earth and the features found on the earth's surface, as well as cultural as well as natural features, and it resulted to the new regions. Navigation skills were not developed in the past, voyage was fraught with dangers, so it restricted the human beings to know more and more about the world. But as the technological advancement continued, the explorers also continued their voyage, and the result was they came to know more and more about the countries as well as the people living even in remote areas. That period was the colonial period also, when the mostly main European countries tried to explore new regions, because there was a great demand of natural resources in England or in European countries at that time. So they keeps on voyage, they keeps on exploring the new regions which can provide them raw material for their industries, for their countries. So they begin to explore the new regions, and that time was known as the colonial period, in which new areas were explored. So the intention here is not to present an in-depth historical account, but to make you aware of the process of steady development of human geography. It means if we keep focus on changing process, we have to go in the past also, how this process is going on, why this process is going on, right? So there is some approach in some changes with the passage of time, and they are known as the approaches. So there are three schools. Schools means there are three institutions which are set up to develop new ideas. They bring new ideas in the geography, which was a demand of that time. To time, there were new schools or school of thought in human geography, which concerned the particular type of that time. First was welfare or humanistic school. Sorry, welfare or humanistic school of thought in human geography was mainly concerned. First of all, there are three schools. First is called welfare or humanistic school. Second is radical school. Third is behavioral school. This school refers to the ideology of the people who want to bring the change in the society according to the necessity of that time, right? So first was the welfare or humanistic school of thought in human geography, was mainly concerned with the different aspects of social well-being of the people. They concerned with the welfare of the people, and these includes housing, health, education, etc. So geographers have already introduced a paper as geography of social well-being in the post-graduation curriculum. The result of this school is that in the post-graduation course, we have the paper of this particular ideology called geography of social well-being, because they thought that there must be in their geography must be concerned with the welfare of the people also. As we go through with our chapters, we will focus on the welfare or the development of the human beings. We have separate chapters for related to each ideology. ठीक है, और they are representing the ideology. Like human development chapter is related to the welfare or humanistic school of thought, right? Second school is radical school of thought, employed Marxian theory to explain the basic cause of poverty, deprivation, and social inequality. When there is a differences between the people according to their caste, sex, or their wealth, so there was a need to be present the equality in all. So the radical school comes with the ideology, which explain the cause of poverty, deprivation, and social inequality, which was spreading throughout the world. So contemporary social problems were related to the development of capitalism. And this because the money or the wealth was accumulated in some few hands. So that process is known as capitalism. When the industrialization was going on, the wealth was accumulated in few hands, and this process is known as capitalism. And to remove the capitalism, radical school comes before. Third is behavioral school of thought, laid great emphasis on lived experience and also on the perception of space by social categories based on ethnicity, race, and religion, etc. Now, because as for example, you are 5 members in a family, the behavior of each and every person is different within your family. So think about the world or the country. There are so many people, crores of people, billions of people are there, and they have different thoughts, different behavior. So this school emphasis on the lived experience, how the people behaves, what it means, the distribution of the space, wealth, etc. Why their distribution, why there is a variation in cultural as well as human activities, right? Now come to the stages or thrust of human geography. First period is known as early colonial period. As you can see in the table, there is a period and the approaches. What was the main approach of that period and its feature, right? So then first is early colonial period, and the approaches is exploration and description. Early colonial period, as I told you, the main emphasis is on trade and to explore the new areas which can provide the raw material and essential natural things to other areas. So the people try to explore new areas. So broad features are imperial and trade interest promoted the discovery and exploration of new areas. Right. Second period is later colonial period, and this approach, what was done? Approaches means what was the major work done in this period? That was regional analysis. When the new region was explored, then there was a need to analyze the particular region. Which type of region is this? Is this which type of natural resources are found there, like that. So the main focus is on regional analysis. So when we try to understand the earth as a whole, before it we have to understand the each and every region of the earth. So there is a deep regional analysis in this period. Third is 1930s through the interwar period, and it is depend upon the areal differentiation. Yeah, the areal differentiation means when we explore the new areas, when we identified the regional analysis, regional analysis took place, we are able to make the differences between the two areas. Why one area is rich, why in particular natural resources, and the other is lacking. So the focus was on identifying the uniqueness of any region. Fourth was late 1950s to the late 1960s, and the approach was spatial organization. Spatial organization. As you read in the 8th standard, the Britishers makes the map of every region of India so that they can implement their ideology, their laws in each and every region, and can take the resources from the region easily. So this is the time when the mapping starting of each and every region. So there is a use of computers and sophisticated statistical tools. Laws of physics were often applied to map and analyze human phenomena. So this technique is known as quantitative revolution or quantitative technique, and the major objective is to identify mappable patterns for different human activities so that they can be explored easily. Second last is 1970s. Before it, the human beings are getting the natural resources frequently, and it has a negative impact on the nature. So emergence of humanistic radical and behavior school, and this is the time when need to we need the humanistic radical and behavior school, because as you read in the colonial period, britishers exploit our natural resources as well as human beings also. So all the colonial rulers, all the colonial rulers exploiting the countries as well as the people. So there was inhumanistic approach was prevailing at that time, and the three schools which we discussed right now, humanistic, radical and behavior schools, comes to overcome this problem. Last is 1990s, postmodernism in geography. Postmodernism in geography, when we modernized our culture, there is a grand generalization and the applicability of universal theories to explain the human conditions were questioned. When we are generalizing that there is a equality, there is a freedom, so all these are generalized, but when we go deeply inside these terms, or we are access to resources to all, means in general term we are getting these points, but if we go through with the state to state or region to region, it varies. So there is a need to explore the things individually, right? Come back. So now you are able to understand what are the uh, corridors of time through which human geography occurs and the approaches at the different period of time. Now come to the last topic, fields and subfields of human geography. As you saw, geography is concerned with all the branches of social science. History, we must know about the history of anything if we are considering the things in the present. Similarly, if we are talking about the trade, we must know the knowledge of economics, right? So if we are talking about the territories or the uh, distribution, then we must know about the political science also. So many more. Behavior is related to the sociology. So there geography is not a separate subject. It has a great relationship with the other disciplines of nature. So it is an highly interdisciplinary nature, and it develops close interface with other sister disciplines in social science. Sister disciplines means social science ke subfields, right? So what are the fields of human geography and its subfields interface with sister discipline of social science? Suppose first is social geography. That is a field of human geography, and its subfields are social geography is related to the consider the third column interface. Social geography is related to the sociology, right? And the subfield behavioral geography is related to the psychology. In psychology, we read about the behavior of human beings. So when we go through with the behavioral geography, we have to take the help of psychology. Understood what it means? Second, geography of social well-being. it is related to the welfare economics. When we talked about the well-beings of the human beings, it is no doubt it is related to the income, and income is related to the production, consumption, and distribution. And we learned it in welfare economics. Next is geography of leisure. It is also related to sociology. Cultural geography, that comes from anthropology, in which we learn about all about the culture. Gender geography, it is related to the sociology, anthropology, women's studies. Historical geography, it comes from history. Medical geography, it comes from epidemiology. And the last second field of human geography is urban geography. Urban geography is a branch of geography when we studied about the urban areas, yani cities. So it comes from the urban studies and planning. Third is political geography. Political geography is related to the political science. Some aspects we learn from the political science to know about the political geography. And the subfields are electoral geography, military geography. Electoral geography is related to the spherology, and military geography is related to the military science. Next main subfield of human geography is population geography, which comes from the social science branch, demography. Next है settlement geography. It comes from the social science branch of urban or rural planning. Settlement geography means we have the chapter number 10 of part A related to the settlements, where the people lives, in which form the people lives, in villages or towns, like that. So it comes from rural or urban planning, social science. Last is economic geography. It has 6 subfields. Geography of resources. Economic geography comes from the economics. Geography of resources, it comes from resource economics. Geography of agriculture, it comes from agriculture science. Geography of industries, it takes helps from the industrial economics. Geography of marketing, it takes helps from business studies, economics, and commerce. Geography of tourism, it takes helps from tourism and travel management. Geography of international trade, it comes from international trade. By these fields and subfields, you are familiar with the scope of geography also. All these subfields have different departments in government, and you can recruit yourself in these departments by the post graduation or the particular courses, right? So geography have a wider scope for your future orientation. So here we completed our chapter